Alright, so you can see I got a new setup here, much better than the old one. I realized that the quality of my other videos were quite amateurish, so here I am trying to make this better production quality for you guys. Hopefully the message is a little more palatable and gets through a little easier with this new setup. So since I started making videos again, I gotta say it's like I've been stressed out, because a big part of me doesn't want to make these videos because, quite frankly, I don't want the smoke. I don't want the negative attention it attracts. I don't want the attention, period. You know, people are crazy, like some of the comments and the anger that comes out of people, especially with some of the things I'm talking about, even though I don't consider them the things I'm talking about, like, it's not controversial at all from my perspective, but yeah, people are like screwed up. People are demonic. There's a lot of angry, demonic people in the world. I mean, virtually everybody has anger, so triggering human beings, it's gonna happen, so whatever. And I can't obviously control anything anybody else does. I have no influence over how other people react or feel or want to interpret me or my words. However, what I do have control over is how I react to other people and any fears or worries or anything I carry with regards to how other people receive me. Whether or not I become emotional or angry, or combative with, you know, the people who react to my videos. That's been the main thing, is what comes out of people is like, it's like I could say it's scary. Like, sure, I might get a little angry and frustrated with how kind of retarded and demonic some people are, but that anger is really like a fear, you know, the fear of whether or not I'm being heard or understood, the fear of conflict, the fear of what could potentially happen to me, or negative things that could potentially come out of conflict, or how people react to my videos. But ultimately it's really just a fear of myself, in terms of me potentially getting emotional or angry with with people who listen, with certain people who react to my videos in the audience. And this touches on a bigger point, because I have a real tendency to focus on actions, and not so much on who I am, my internal experience. You know, there's that almost kind of cliche saying of like, you're not a human doing, you're not a human being. I know that sounds funny and is maybe a little cliche or whatever, but it's true, guys. Like, who you are within yourself and how you experience yourself is everything. Who you are determines what you're gonna do in your reality. It determines your actions. And who you are is simple from the perspective of, you know, you are either clear, you have a clear heart, clear mind, sound mind, you know, pure intentions through that, through being quiet within yourself, through not having anger and emotions and thoughts, and not living in your imagination. So you're either a physical being that is of the earth, purely of the earth, or you could say of life, or even of God for the religious people out there. To me, those are all the same point. Or you can be a demon, which means you live in your imagination, you live in your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and oh, it's raining, cool. Virtually every single human being is demonic from that perspective, is in a kind of fallen state, because I don't know a single human being that doesn't, at least to some capacity, have thoughts which create feelings and emotions that then influence who they are and their behavior and what they do in this world. And none of that is real. It's all fake. Like, literally, fear and anger, emotions, imagination, thoughts, it's not real. It's all in your head. And so that's been my main, well, I'm trying to focus more on that since making videos, because honestly it is, like, it's stressful living in fears and emotions, anger. You know, even as I talk about it right now, it's like, my neck is kind of like stiff and sore. And it's important to take the time to reflect on who you are, to stop in moments and be aware of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what emotions you're having, what you're projecting in your imagination, and stop. And I mean, when you start doing this, it's not gonna be like quick fix. It's not necessarily going to be easy from the perspective of, you'll find that you might stop your thoughts and feelings and emotions initially in the moment, but then there's going to be more, and then after you deal with those, the more things that come after that, there's going to be more and still more, and it's just a constant process. And so practice makes perfect. You have to practice getting in the habit of checking yourself, of being aware of what you're experiencing within yourself and stopping it. And the more you do that, the more you'll get to know yourself, the more you'll get to know how you really are, what you're really experiencing, and how and why, and how you came to be that way. What is the logic? What is the psychological element of that, and how that all works mechanically. And for me, that's important, because I would like my words to be clear and pure and effective. You know, the last thing in the world that I want to do is put out more energy, more anger, more emotions, because that's all just fuel to the demons. And if you look at it, like, we as demonic, emotional, mental beings, we crave that. It's like fuel for the mind, for the demon that lives inside you, if I can put it that way. The mind thrives on that and looks for it in every possible way. That's what your addictions are. That's what lust is. That's what having conflict and being a combative person is. At a deeper level, you're just looking for the friction that creates the energy that keeps your imagination, your mind, your demons alive. So this is my focus for now. This is something I've got to do more of. And it's not that I'm not going to keep speaking and doing and acting. It's about who I am within speaking and doing and acting. And if you're wondering why, my videos are so amateurish, I mean, I don't prepare anything in these videos. I have like a vague topic in mind, and I just turn the camera on and I speak. I do sometimes think a little bit about, oh, how am I going to speak, and project myself into the future a little bit. But every time I do that, I snap back to present reality and realize that's nothing. That doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. And it's like an attempt of controlling and censoring and trying to manipulate your own speech before you've even come to the moment of actually living and expressing yourself. So within that, it's like you're cutting yourself off from just expressing purely, unconditionally, here in the moment, without fear, without thoughts, imagination, emotions, feelings. And yeah, so from that perspective, guys, like, we're all the same, no human being is really better or worse than another, from that perspective. And I'm just a guy who feels a sense of responsibility to speak up, because if there's one thing I can see about myself, is that I really am not truly afraid to speak up, or at least I recognize that even if I do get afraid to speak up, those fears are not real. They're nothing, and nobody owns me. I created a life for myself where I'm not compromised by anything. I can just get up here and say anything, and I don't care. I'm not worried about how it's going to compromise me financially or with some job or some relationship or whatever. And I deliberately created my life that way so that I could be who I am and express myself freely, without compromise, without fear. So yeah, that's it. That's all for now, guys. Thanks.